one of the biggest failures I had. The most recent one was when I tried to do my first public speaking event. I am a high-end life coach for executives and high-performing individuals. I spent $2,000 for experience.
You spent $2,000 for experience?
Sure did. It was a very, very steep price for experience because I could have gotten a lot cheaper if I was smarter. But when I started, there wasn't really anyone to learn from, at least no one that I could afford. Everything in your life you've done is a reflection of what you've become, cultivated, and learned over time. And so whatever you have to offer is part of that. And so knowing who you are, we can know what it is you have to offer, and not even that, what you can best offer. I don't want to make someone be like me. I want to help someone be more like themselves.
What's going on, family? Today I'm sitting down with Ronald Sepulveda II, founder of Absolution Coaching LLC. Ron is a high-end life coach who works with executive and high-performing individuals. But what stood out to me wasn't just who he works with. It was how much of his business was built through experience. He spent close to $2,000 promoting his first speaking event, expecting a much larger crowd, and only 5 people showed up. Instead of only calling it a failure, Ron said he spent $2,000 for experience. Throughout this conversation, we talk about learning from mistakes, understanding who you are, and becoming present with people. Ron believes experience is one of the best teachers. Now, let's get into the episode. Ron, thank you again for coming on to the Phase Knowledge Podcast. I just got one question for you. Have you ever failed before?
Have I? Oh, I've got a list. Oh, so this is kind of funny. The last few times I actually had a job other than this one. One of my favorite things to do was I listed the mistakes I made at the job and how I learned from those things. And that seemed to always really impress the people I was working with. But I could say probably one of the biggest failures I had, the most recent one, was when I tried to do my first public speaking event. I rented out a 300 share space at a community center. I advertised all over radio and billboards. And I just pushed myself out there as hard as I could. I was like, this is my first big event. I'm going to be speaking at this. This is something everyone can really use. And only 5 people showed up.
That was it?
I mean, that was, I feel, I mean, so to be fair, nowadays, it doesn't even seem like a failure. It seems like just the first step. A lot of people would say that. It's like a lot of people who speak says, yeah, their first speaking engagement was that. But a lot of people's first speaking engagement also is like in a room full of people, like they set up the room kind of thing. Like I went all out. Like I spent close to $2,000 just for advertising alone for everything for this, and like it just did not. Yeah, it did not pan out. Whatever.
And the reason why I asked you was that it is because a lot of times we just talk about the failures, but what about everything that comes after that? The lessons, the growth, the discovery. You might have done something right, but it might be in the wrong time. And you made me think about when I first started speaking. I got in front of it was an open mic, and I got in front of the audience and started to speak. When I was about to speak, I had the microphone, and I couldn't even talk. Like the words wasn't even coming out, and it took me like 5 different tries to even like know what I wanted to say. But then when I actually got to a point where I wanted to know what I wanted to say, and I started to share it, I started to recognize I was failing in public. As I was doing research on you, you failed in public, and I like how you said that your previous jobs, you look at the mistakes, see what went wrong, and then see how you can do better. How did you learn that you always have to reflect on what went right and what went wrong?
I learned that that's kind of what, when you're in the interview process for a job, that's what a lot of the people are looking for. It's like, what kind of lessons have you learned? But they don't know how to ask that. And even if they don't know how to ask that, you wouldn't know how to answer if they did it anyways, because you're just not used to that. They think about looking for is your accomplishments and what you move forward. And that's kind of all you focus on. What tell them is like the best parts. But you don't realize that if you tell them the worst parts of the things you've learned, that will go so much further. And like I said, it's always been beneficial to me to bring it up that way, to tell people like, this is the mistakes I made at my last job. This is what I learned from that. Now the people employing me knows like, okay, he learned this. This is something that can be very beneficial that we don't have to deal with that.
So now that you talked about the failures and how you have failed and how you turned into knowledge, what is the business? What the business that you have is Absolution Coaching LLC, right?
Correct.
What is that business and what do you do?
I am a high end life coach for executives and high performing individuals, and so that means I work with people like CEOs, COOs, any kind of fractionals. I'll work with presidents. I'll work with political figures. I've worked with music artists before, and I'll work with professional athletes.
Are you random question? Are you music as well?
I know, even though I look like it. I know I look. I know. Honestly, I probably will at some point. I'm probably gonna. I know I'm gonna pick up the guitar at some point because I just look like I should. And at that point, it's
Mhm.
like, that's the kind of stereotype I would like to live into. That'd be kind of nice to actually be able to play the guitar. So
I was thinking about guitar because my wife got me a piano like a long time ago, and when I was in the service, I had a piano, but I never just like stick to practicing, learn how to play in it. And then recently, last couple of months, I've been learning the keys, learning how to play with it, and I'm getting used to it because just like music, your voice has to be practiced. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a skill that I can develop later on down the line. And so as I was doing doing research on you, Absolution Coaching LLC, you have to go through a phase to understand who your customers are, how much you're going to charge, how you're going to serve. How did you recognize that this is the phase that you want? This is the business that you would like to go into?
I've had the skill of being able to identify people's behaviors and understand them since I was very little. And like I tell people it's like I'm about 37 years old now, and I have about 36 years of studying people because it's about as far back as I can remember. Like just kind of like watching people and observing them, always remembering like, oh, that's interesting. How would that work differently? Because I remember all the way back to when I was like 2 years old. Like I remember I have memories of the house I lived in at that age. Like I have the layout in my head. I remember sneaking into the fridge when I was that young to steal sneak pieces of cheeses, things like that. Um, that was just a natural talent, and part of me is always, I guess always, part of me learned growing up that it isn't always your dreams that you chase. It's what you're good at. What you're good at is really effective in helping the people around you, and if you focus on that, sometimes that becomes your dream, and that's what happened here with me in coaching. Like this is something that I was naturally able to just cultivate it into, and so because I was good at it, I utilized it. Now it's become, now they both mesh. It's like now my big dream career has become the thing that I'm good at.
They say if you follow your passion, you never work a day in your life. Then I come up and then follow with a question with that, like, well, how do you know this is your passion? How do you know that this is something that you love? How do you know that you're going to be good at it? As I was doing research on you, you were always curious. You always ask
Mhm.
questions. You always wanted to know why. And by you being a coach, you have to understand people why and who they are. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Why is that important?
because who are you and what you want? Those are probably the two most important questions going forward. And to reveal my secret a little bit, who you are is asking about your values and motivations. If I ask who are you, and if anyone asks who are you, they're asking about what are your values and motivations from the source. It's like, well, like I want to know about what makes you do things, what makes you do anything, because that's kind of what we are. When we say who we are, that's what we're really pointing at. Is like these are my values, and my motivations. Now, when you ask what do you want, that's the exact same question, just from a different perspective. When you ask what someone wants, you're asking for their values and motivations, but from the target. And so now you can understand that person a little bit better either way. And then the reason both those questions are perfect together, they're perfect together, not individually, because sometimes you don't know. Like a lot of people I talk to, if I ask who are you, and they know I'm not just asking for their name, a lot of times I don't really know the answer to that question right now, and that happens very often. It's so common. But if I ask what do you want, that's a little more solidified. And so both questions together give the clues to understand what a person is. And those two things, and that's all you need. That's all you really need to know about a person is who are you and what do you want, to be able to, if your goal is to help them, to be able to help them.
And that goes back to your first example of the question I asked, have you ever failed before? You said that your goal, your target was to have 300 people in this room. You spent $2,000, only got 5 people.
Hmm.
Some might say that you spent a lot of money and you wasted the money that you spent. What would you say that you did for your first first event that you was holding?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say I spent $2,000 for experience.
You spent $2,000 for experience.
And sure did. It was a very very steep price for experience because I could have gotten a lot cheaper if I was smarter.
So it feels like does it feel like I'm going all over the place with the questions?
No, it feels right on.
Okay, good, good, good. And the reason why I asked that because and with me, I'll use me as an example. When I first started doing business and I started to learn that podcasting can be a business, I'm like, wait, how? How is this even possible? It's understanding how to sell, how to market, how to spend money, how to invest, how to build a team, how to do all these things to operate a business. When you're getting into business, there's a lot of things that you have to learn. When you got to follow your passion, how did you recognize, okay, there's a business here? I need to learn what the business is. And now that I'm doing business, I understand business. How did you understand that you was actually doing business?
So that's probably the biggest story of where all the failures came into play because there was coaching is was even nowadays coaching is still not a very widely known profession. And so yeah, a decade ago when I started, it was even less so, and a decade before that, it was probably almost unheard of. But when I started, there wasn't really anyone to learn from, at least no one that I could afford. I remember there was one coach I really wanted to learn from, but he charged $70,000 to train with him. And in my head, I'm like, if I had $70,000 to spend to train with you, I wouldn't need to train with you in the first place. And so a lot of my job was all trial and error. It was all failures, and especially like quitting a 9 to 5 job and starting up my own career. I had to learn. Okay, within the first few weeks, I realized that, man, you're really in charge of everything and responsible for it. So like, if you don't actually take charge of that, you're going to spend all day doing nothing. I think that was the very first week I learned that too. It was like when the very first week I was like, all right, I'm on my own job now. I'm on my own career. What do I want to do? I can do everything. Well, so, I'll probably get to tomorrow. And like, I was kind of like that in that for a week. And after a while, it's like, okay, I got no work done. But like, it's like, okay, at this point, I understand now. If I'm left to my own devices, I'm not going to do anything. So I have to actually like put myself in the mindset that I'm clocking in to actually like do the work. And so I put myself in positions. I know myself. If I'm at home, I'm more likely to be more lax, more lazy. And so what's the best way to do? If I know myself, well, get out of the house. And so I started going to like the local coffee shop that I really like going to, and that was like my work time. It's like if it was time for me to work, go to the coffee shop, and that was a good lesson to learn. A lot of failure there was just not getting anything done that first week.
How long? Okay, two-part question. You said when you left your 9 to 5 and the week that you wasn't working, you start to recognize it's up to you. It's a two-part question. Part one, how long have you been unemployed from a 9 to 5?
So like from this point or from
Mm-hmm.
that, so
From
from this
from
point.
from yeah,
So
yeah,
I
well, yeah, from this
oh I can
point.
tell you the date. I
Yeah.
quit February 15th, 2016.
For February 15th, 2016. Okay.
I
Part
know the
two of the
exact.
question.
Yeah, but
Go ahead, go ahead. What was you about to say?
I was gonna say I know the exact date because I planned that day. I was gonna quit I think a day earlier, but then my boss was like, "Well, it's Valentine's Day. We're gonna be really busy. Could you quit like afterward?" I was like, "Yeah, I can do that."
Okay, part two of the question, because you and I explain why I'm asking it like this is because there's a process that you have to go through before you actually become unemployed. Mentally, you're employed unemployed, but then physically, when you're no longer working at the job, then there's a difference. So the part two of the question, how long were you preparing yourself to actually lead a 9 to 5?
Okay, so about a year. Once I learned about it about a year beforehand, and I started like really delving into the workings of it. What I learned about it was on the way to work. At this time, I'm working at a movie theater. I'm one of the managers there, and I'm driving to work, and I'm listening to NPR, which it just sounds like the most like mundane workday thing you possibly do when you're driving to work. Listening to NPR. But on NPR that day, they came up with someone called a life coach, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool." That's interesting. And then she described exactly what she does, and it was the thing that I've done my whole life, like mentor people and help them understand their behaviors and make them better people. And then when I learned how much she made a year, I was like, you can make a career to this. This is way more than I'm making at this job. It's like, and I couldn't think of anything else. It's all I could think about. I remember that day, I got no work done. I was so focused on that. I was using the company computer to like pull up all the information about this life coaching thing. And then yeah, so I want to say it was about a year, almost about a full year of time that I just started like delving into it, like reading books, understanding the behaviors, what it is we're trying to do with this, and yeah, learning the business side of it too. And so it was a full year. I was still working at the theater at the time, building up to that point. And that day that I quit was the day that I started that business. Like I filed for it. So
And I appreciate you for sharing that. You're probably one of the few people that I interviewed that has worked at the movie theater as well. I worked at my first job was the Regal movie theater back in Little Rock,
Yep,
Arkansas.
it was a
And
Regal. I was working at Regal too.
you were oh,
Yep,
that's
Regal in
dope.
Louisiana.
That's dope. When I remember working at the movie theater, it's a process just to go every single day, and that was like one of my first jobs. Unfortunately, I got fired, and fortunately, I'm saying I was the cause of why I got fired.
Mhm.
Nonetheless, when I start to learn more about business, I was like, wait, hold on. You know how people get out the car and then they go to the ticket booth? They get the
Yeah.
ticket. Then once they get their ticket, they go inside of the building, go to the concession. They got candy. Well, the way we had candy on the outside of the concession. Then they walk up to the counter, purchase popcorn, drinks, whatever. Then they go and get their ticket and go to the location, go sit down, all these different things. When I started learning about business, I reflected when I worked at the movie theater. I reflected like, wait, hold on. The customers, it's a seamless process. All they have to do
Mhm.
is come, buy the ticket, buy the food, watch the show, leave. We on the back end have to do everything. We have to clean, make the food, make sure the auditoriums is clean. When you were as you transition into being your own business owner, now you got to do the marketing. Now you got to do the sales. Now you got to do the follow up. Now you got to do the finances. Now you got to do the management. Now you got to do legal. Now you got to do taxes. How how are you able to just position yourself to get everything in order?
Terribly. I was terribly in position. Something another big failure that I had to bring about is learning about marketing, and not just about marketing, but how coaching is with marketing. Coaching is notoriously difficult to market because no one has a budget for that. When someone needs something like a doctor, they that's already in their heads. Like, okay, medical issue, go to doctor. When someone thinks about any kind of like mental issue or psychological issue or anything like that, they're like, okay, therapist. No one thinks coach, and so no one really has a mental budget for coach. And so, like that's why my billboard didn't do too well. If I put up super awesome life coach, best life coach in Florida on a billboard, people are going to see that and no one's going to care because no one has it in their mental budget. And so because of that, that's one of the lessons I had to learn because I was advertising that way for a while, and so that because this didn't plan out, I learned that if you really want to advertise as a coach, which is advertise, you kind of have to put yourself in a position of where you're an authority figure, and so people can want to listen to you. And so moving into this era of content is definitely better for coaches because it's better marketing, whereas the classical version of marketing of putting up an ad in the Super Bowl is not going to work for a life coach whatsoever.
It might if you understand your audience and how to communicate the language. I don't know for sure. I ain't reading the ad yet, but I'm just saying I don't know. Maybe that $2,000 was a lesson to let help you position the ad differently. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's among the whole industry. We all know, like we know about it as coaches. Is like, yeah, you just can't market the old ways. It just doesn't work with coaches.
So content makes you the authority. In your research, and while I was doing research, it said that you intentionally are what is it called? Hold on. I think you say intentionally. I'm paraphrasing. That you purposely not seen, like you purposely are not out there.
Yes,
Why are you transitioning from purposely not being out there to being out there now?
I've learned that I don't like saying this because it feels like a brag, but it's not meant to be. And I tell people this all the time. It's like I'm not trying to brag when I say this. I really do feel like I'm one of the best coaches out there, and I know that because I've gone to conventions. I've gone to entire conventions for coaches, and I've sat there listening to the keynote speaker and going, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's not the right perception. You're gonna mess someone up telling them that you can't tell them. I'm just nitpicking the entire thing, and I realize it's like in this entire room of coaches, everyone here is taking notes, and I'm like, this is completely incorrect. And I had a coaching apprentice with me at the time sitting there, and when he's writing down, I said, don't write that down. I kept telling him, I was like, don't write this, don't write that down. And after we left the hall too, he asked me all the questions for everything we didn't want to write down, and I explained it. And he even said it out loud. I was like, I really think you were the best coach in that room. Actually, you probably should have been up there on stage. And at that point, I started thinking, is like, if I know this much about human behavior, I feel like as much as I want it to go to the strongest leaders possible, I think it's a detriment if I don't give a chance for more people to learn about it. And so that was been my experiences for so long as I've been low profile and I learned to be low profile because I talked to an executive a long time ago, which is when I first started moving into executive coaching. It's because of what this guy said, and he says we don't want to hire someone like Tony Robbins, because if I hire Tony Robbins, everyone I know is going to know that I hired Tony Robbins, and it's going to be kind of a joke at that point. Like, it's like all my effort is going to be attributed to Tony Robbins, that I needed his help to get this done, and it just makes it look bad on overall and among my peers. And yeah, that really stuck to me. It's like, so if this guy had someone secret in his back pocket that could do the same work, but just wasn't out there to get fame, that's exactly who he'd be looking for. And I was like, yeah, that's perfect. And so for the longest time, for almost half my career, I marketed myself as a back pocket coach. So it's like I'm the secret guy for CEOs. I even still, like, to this day, I don't require it anymore, but I still offer not a non-disclosure agreement. What is it? Pretty much a non-disclosure agreement that says that I'm not going to speak about our work, though the client who I have is able to. Like, they're free to speak as much as they want and how honest they are, but this is an agreement telling you that I'm not going to go out and tell people that I'm working with you. So that's not required anymore, but that used to be a requirement to work with me.
So okay, so I did want to ask you that question. So they can market, they can say that they worked with you, right?
Yes.
But you can't say that you worked with them.
Correct.
Why? Okay, so how did you market yourself if you wasn't saying like, "Hey, we help X amount of people, or we help this person do X, Y, and Z"? Like, how were you able to market yourself if you wasn't communicating about what you helped them with?
Well, because I've never done that. I've never talked to anyone that says I've helped this many people. I've never done that, and I've learned that because people don't care. People really don't care. Like, that, if someone cares about how many people I've helped, they're thinking about the metrics, and that's not someone they can work with anyways, because they're not in the right mindset to receive the kind of coaching. When I've talked to someone, the thing is, it's like, I'm going to go deep into what you want and who you are and what you want. I'm going to go in deep into that as possible, and I'm going to show you that I can benefit you. And so if I find someone that could use help and I like them, and they seem coachable and I like them, I'm going to invite them to a free 2-hour conversation for actual coaching. And that's I guess that's my best marketing. The way to do it is I'm going to show you exactly what I do, so that you have no doubts about what it is I'm capable of. And then from there on, you can decide to hire me or not. And that's what's worked.
And that is a perfect segue to the second segment, which is now we're gonna go off script. Well, it's not a script, but we're gonna go off the format. And let's just say, Ron, I come to you, and I don't know who you are. Let's just say we were at a conference, and you were on stage. And you were speaking about what you do and how you go about doing it. And I come to you and say, Ron, man, I actually like your presentation. How can I learn more? Let's just say you say, schedule a call, and we can have a free 2-hour call. Within 3 minutes, what are three things that you would tell me, or what are three ways that you can help me with my current situation?
Well, right now, in that moment, if you're someone to approach me at that moment, I'm probably not going to tell you, let's schedule a time to talk, until afterwards. What I'm going to do is, like, well, tell me more about this problem right now, because I'm going to get right with you.
Let's
If you
role play.
approach me,
Let's role
yeah,
play. I just approach you.
yeah.
Let's
So if
role
you
play.
just approach me, all right, okay. Well, tell me what more about your situation, what your problem.
So I've been trying to start a business for, let's say, half a decade, and I have no idea where to start. I don't know what business to start. I have no idea who to serve.
Okay, so you just want to start a business in general, right?
I think so. I believe
Why?
so.
Why do you want to do that?
Because I'm tired of my 9 to 5. I'm tired of, like, well, when I was serving in the Marine Corps, I was trying to find my purpose and trying to find my passion, but for some reason, like, although serving the country was good, I still don't know what my passion is. So I guess my passion is with my business, but I'm not for sure how they would go.
Yeah, and at that point, well, then who are you? Like, who are you to open this business then?
Well. Before I ask that, what kind of, I don't know what kind of business though. Like, how would they go hand in hand with the business?
Because it's who you are, right? Like, everything in your life you've done is a reflection of what you've become, cultivated, and learned over time. And so whatever you have to offer is part of that. And so knowing who you are, we can know what it is you have to offer, and not even that, what you can best offer.
Okay, makes sense. So I guess when I was in the service, my job was, I was driving the military vehicles. I mean, that was pretty cool, but I don't think that's my passion.
Yeah, but maybe not. So, like, overall, why do you make money?
To make a difference,
Make money
make
to
an
make a
impact.
difference. And difference for who? Impact on what?
a difference in other people's lives, other what service members' lives to help them become the best version of themselves.
Okay, so why is that important?
It's important because I like to see other people win. I like to see other people build their confidence and do good for themselves as well.
What does that do for you?
It gives me enlightenment. It gives me fulfillment. It gives me purpose. Oh, you good. You good. That was good. Okay, okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
So yeah, that's if enlightenment and purpose. That's the purpose. Purpose is a very particular thing. That's what we're all looking for, right?
Mhm.
But what I call purpose is I call proof of existence because that's what everyone's looking for. Everyone's looking for that proof of existence. When someone says impact, they want people to know. They want people to see the crater that says that person lived. Because that's what impact is, right? And a hammer impacts the ground, it leaves a dent. And people want to see. People want other people to see the dents they left in life, to see like those moments, the proof of existence. I call it proof of existence now instead of purpose.
That's good. That's good. Run, man. Okay, that's the scene. However, I understand now. I understand. I understand it now. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because to show your expertise, just like you said, whenever somebody come encounter with you, you show your expertise. You don't tell them how you can help them. You help them. And if they want to work with you later on, based off what you said, and if I understand what you said, if they like what how you have helped them, then you work with them more. You work with them longer. How was that role play?
Fantastic! Like it's an interaction I've had a lot, so I can almost map it out how it was going to go the entire time.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly why I want to do it that way. Just so people can see your expertise, they can see why you're good, and they can see why you have the business of. Hold on, let me come back to Absolution Coaching LLC. It's not just about the LLC or the corporation. It's about understanding where people are at. You said when you was 2 years old, you was always curious. Well, I'm paraphrasing. You was always curious. You was always like watching people as you got
Mhm.
older, as you got more educated, how did you recognize, like, wait, hold on, I'm actually learning people. I'm not just watching people, I'm learning people. And this is how it's helping me in my business.
I mean, it had to have been really early in life. Like even from the age of like 5 or 6 is probably when I picked up. It's like, oh, I can actually. I see what you did. I see what you were going for. This was your failure. And like obviously, when you're 5 years old, you can't deliver that very well. You're gonna be like, "That was stupid. Why'd you do that? You just gotta. That you're dumb. Why would you do that?" That's how it comes out. But then as I get older, it's like it's just ingrained. I don't think it's ever something. It was never a moment where it clicked. It was just it's a part of me. It was a natural part that grew in me over time.
Mm.
I use the
Okay.
word cultivated a lot. It was cultivated.
Why was it cultivated though?
I'm not. I couldn't say. I could say it's a gift from God that I was blessed with curiosity and the ability to interpret what I'm curious about.
There's a sales saying that says ABC always be closing. And then I was speaking with one of my mentors, and he was like, ABC, not always be closing, but always be curious.
Mm.
When he said that, I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. So the value is in how you're asking the questions. It's not what you're asking, it's how you're asking to make other people think the response. And so when you fully got into business, you was learning sales. Let's talk about sales. How did you learn how to communicate with people to sell your products and those services?
That was definitely a long shot. That took a while too because I had almost no experience. I say no experience, but obviously, like I ran a crawfish stand for a little while. I ran an arcade. I know how to sell well enough. Like I had to tell people, I was like, "Oh, this item on the shelf of the arcade is better than this item. But it's more tickets, stuff like that." I knew a decent amount about sales, but I knew nothing about actual sales until I came into coaching because I had to learn how to sell myself. I learned how I was the product, I was the service. And when so many people start where I was at, one of the most common things is you don't think you can put a number on yourself. You're so afraid of that. You're so afraid of putting a value of like this is how much it costs to talk to me. I want to help people, I really do. And so it's really scary to put a value on. What if they say no? What if they're not willing to pay that? well, then now I can't help them, and I really want to help them, so I'm gonna do it for free. And that's kind of like the number of times that's happened in the beginning. It happens quite a bit, and I still hear stories of other people I've talked to who do the same thing. And that mindset, it's something that you have to work out. At some point, you got to get to the words like, okay, I can't eat tomorrow if I don't make a sale. And so at this point, it's like I have to be able to sell now. And so, and that sometimes you just, instead of trying to beat around the bush or make it seem nice, you just cut to the chase. Is like, are my services something that could benefit you? And then that's one of the strongest questions I've learned to ask. It's like, instead of just trying to weasel my way into the conversation or maybe seem good, it's like, ask them, is like, are my services something that could benefit you? And if they say no, awesome. If they say yes, oh, then we can move into that conversation.
Okay, you made me think of something. You said earlier. You said it took you a week when you quit your 9 to 5, and that week time frame for you to actually recognize, like, wait, if I don't go out and market myself, sell myself, I'm not going to be paid. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to do anything. Does they go hand in hand with each other, or with the does they go hand in hand with the sales when you realize that you have to go sell yourself because you're the one that's selling?
I'd say so, only because it's the next step. It's like, first step was to get out of the house. I'm not going to be able to sell my coaching in my own home. It's not going to happen. Like, yeah, I can just start with the phone, but I want to really meet people, and like that's how it's going to happen. I can't cold call people into coaching. They have to actually get to know me and know that I'm something valuable, that like I can actually benefit them. And so I got to get out there and do it. And then the second part was, yeah, being able to actually convince someone that I'm someone that we're talking to. I think one of the best failures I could tell you was during my coaching career that completely pivoted everything. So when I first started coaching, obviously I went through my phases of learning how to be a coach. When I actually got pretty decent at the business side of it, I got into full, what is it? I guess full stereotype coach mode. I had a tablet that kept files on everyone I had. It was like anything that you think a coach would do, I did it because I was like, I wanted to have that image. I think everything short of wearing like a suit, because like this has been my like this outfit you see on me. I wear the same outfit every day since I was like, I don't know, 18. It's been my image, and it's become part of my coaching image too. It's like people know me as, I'm gonna walk into I just did that the other day actually. I walk into a CEO summit, and everyone's in suits. I'm gonna be wearing this sleeveless hoodie and a black T-shirt. And a lot of them appreciate that too. I've even heard someone from one of the groups I'm in. He says, "I like that you do that because no one's gonna forget seeing you. It's one of the best marketing tools ever. Is like no one's gonna forget seeing you there because it's almost like you didn't fit in. And because of that, people talk to you and realize that you do belong there. Actually, you're just standing out."
That's a form
But
of
yeah,
marketing. Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go
yeah.
ahead.
I deviated a bit into the weeds there. But to go over my biggest failure was when I got to the peak of whenever I was doing everything that I think a coach should be doing. I had a conversation with someone, and I remember I invited him to conversation. He worked at a fast food place, and he had probably one of the best attitudes I've ever seen of someone in that kind of position. Almost to where it's like, this guy should be like working at like a sports car dealership with how good he is at customer service. Like he'd make a lot of good money, and he's here working at a front counter at a fast food place. And I wanted to learn more about his demeanor and more about his like how he presented himself, because I was like, if this is something I can replicate in people, this would be really good. So I invited him to a conversation. I offered him to buy him lunch. He was pretty willing just from that. And I could tell, I was like, I set up my tablet. I had all my questions printed out. I started asking him questions. I'd ask him something, he'd answer it, and I'd type away. Ask him another question. He'd answer that a little bit, I type away. And I noticed at one point while I'm typing away, he's kind of just sitting there, like really looking really disinterested, kind of like twiddling his thumbs. And I'm in this moment, I kind of had that moment of clarity. I was like, what am I doing right now? It's like, I'm supposed to be coaching this guy, and it looks like I'm just like taking down notes from a newspaper. And so at that moment, I was like, "Give me 1 second, I apologize." And I just closed the tablet and put it down, and I got to real questions with them almost immediately, and you could feel it. It was exactly what I always wanted out of coaching. It was that moment. Like I had those conversations before. I think in my magazine, the magazine article I was in for Excellion, that was brought up, but it didn't go into detail of how important the moment that was. That I noticed that all of this extra stuff, all of these methods, all of these tactics and systems, it's all fluff that got in the way of really knowing the person in front of me. And so it was that session that I was able to put everything down and had probably one of the best sessions I've had in a long time since that moment. So I actually got to know the person, and I learned way more in that moment just being able to talk to him as a person instead of a mouthpiece typing into a stupid tablet. And to this day, I still have that tablet. I just don't ever turn it on or anything. It's a kind of reminder, a piece of like, you don't need this. And like from then on, my coaching has always been that ever since. I'm not going to use any kind of mental trick on you. I'm not going to use a tactic or some system someone sold somewhere. I'm not going to be like a Tony Robbins emotional manipulator kind of guy. I want to know you. I want to know, and I want to know how to help you, and that's going to happen in a deep, real conversation. And that was probably like my best failure was knowing that I was doing that to people.
Even in the magazine, it said that you became present.
It
Was
was
that
his presence. And that's the word
okay?
I would use. I still use, to this day. I still tout the importance of presence. It's like probably the biggest aspect of my coaching, like secrets in my coaching firm is presence. Presence is everything. Presence will solve every problem you will ever have in your life if you know how to utilize it properly. And in that moment, I noticed I was lacking presence. I wasn't being present with that guy. He felt it. I felt it. The tablet, if it could feel anything, felt it. Like it was a very unpresent moment, and so I had to get back to being present, and so that's what it was. And so from then on, that's what it's all been about. Every session I've been into is being as present as possible with the person in front of me. I don't even I take 5 clients a year, like long term, but even in that moment, it's like if I'm in a session with someone, I don't think about how many clients I have. I just have one person right here. Whoever's right in front of me, this is the only person I have right now.
That means that you know yourself, or that you know yourself. You reflected on what's working, what's not working. Because I used to do that a lot whenever I used to do a lot of different podcast episodes. Because I've done over 893 podcast episodes. That's a
Yeah.
lot of conversations. Like early off, I would literally have my notebook, my pen, taking notes, taking notes. Like if you say something that the story you just tell, I would take notes. But then I'm trying to remember what you just said, and I forgot the question to ask because I'm still taking the notes. And then that moment of not being present was like, okay, let me just not take notes at all because I can't be in tune with you. I can't have a conversation. And when I started to learn that presence equals conversation, and that's how people get comfortable, I was like, oh, that's I've been doing it my whole life. Just communicating. That's all I've been doing. Just communicating. So when you're coaching, what is the biggest hurdle that you see when people are when they want to become the best version of themselves?
The biggest hurdle. There's so many depending on the archetype of the person, so it's hard to pinpoint on just one. But what I
Instead of
could say,
biggest, let's say most recent. My bad.
most recent,
Most recent.
most that's a good one. Most recent, someone who is a people pleaser. The biggest and like the hardest mindset for them. This person wants to help people. I asked them the big question too. It's like this is someone who makes a lot of money. He's really good at making money. And I told him it's like you are someone who learned how to make money really well, but you never figured out why you're making money, and because of that, you blow it all whenever you get it. And I asked him, "It's like, what are you spending all this money on?" And he's like, I'm giving away to friends. Like I'm helping people. I want to help people, and that's always what I'm such a giver. And then so yeah, and it's like, oh, well, what kind of giving are you doing? It's like, well, yeah, well, I just gave like $500 to a friend of mine just now. I was like, well, do you need it? It's like, well, probably not. I guess not really. It's like, well, then you weren't really serving this guy. You were people pleasing, weren't you? He was like, oh yeah, I'm a big people pleaser. And that was like one of the best questions I asked people when they learn the people pleaser. Is like, okay, how many people are pleased with you right now? And just like most people, he's like, oh, nobody actually. It's pretty funny that you'd say that. And it's like, yeah, because people pleasing isn't beneficial. And so like the mindset of people who are like that, they want everyone. That's part of the proof of existence there too. Like people who are overly sacrificial to the point to where it's like I want people to know that I have value, and so I'll give them I'll give them the shirt off my back if it means that they'll remember me, kind of thing. That's a huge problem because like, okay, you gave the shirt off your back, but now you don't have a shirt to give anyone else. And so at that point, it's like you have to learn the difference between serving and pleasing. And those are way two different things. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, the people pleasing and serving are two different concepts entirely. Serving is about are you giving the person something they need, whereas pleasing is giving them something they want. If you're out with a friend who's an alcoholic, and he says, "I really could use a drink. Could you buy me a drink right now?" The people pleaser is going to say, "Yeah, I'm going to buy you a drink. I want you to enjoy yourself." The someone who's willing to serve someone, they're going to tell you, "No, you're doing really well. You don't need to buy the drink."
Or refer some water.
Yeah,
You can never go wrong with water.
it's
And,
like we're in the South. We got some sweet tea somewhere.
and I like how you said that you have to identify the people pleasing. Like if you are people pleasing, I'm always questioning this. Like whenever somebody would say, "I would give the shirt off my back," I'm like, "Wow, why not just go get them their own shirt and you keep your shirt on your back?" And I've always wondered that. Yes, I get it. It's a sin, but like you mentioned, it's the pleasing of people. There's nothing wrong with serving people, but you have to identify the two. It was hard for me, but then when I had went through my divorce, my mama had told me, "Son, you have to worry about yourself and do what's best for you." And I'm like, "Huh? I don't have to be a people pleaser. I can still serve, but have boundaries. Have boundaries." Were you ever a people pleaser or
I think I was always some version of it growing up, but at the same time, I felt like I had the wisdom to know better.
uh
I think I was always smart enough to know better. Like this person needs this thing, like versus me just being like, yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to make people like me. Like I've had my moments to where like I'm out with friends and I want people to like me, so I bought lunch for everybody. But I've also had my moments too where it's like if I was going to take my shirt off my back for someone else, it's like, well, okay, does this person already have a shirt? Do I really need to do this?
what about me? Is the weather is it raining outside right now? I'm in Western Chapel. It's raining right now. So if I was to give you the shirt with my back, I can get sick and you can be good. I'm like, why not both of us just wear the jackets? Uh how does identifying the type of person that you're speaking with ties into Absolution Coaching LLC?
I mean, it's the core of all of it. Like I said, who are you and what you want is important because how do I help you if I don't know that? How do I help you if I don't know who you are, what you want? Like if like it's the magazine really liked the statement that I put in there, so I think I put it in there like quotes like twice. But it's like my business. I'm not here to mold you into what I think you should be. Like if you want that, go to a counselor or let's see, what else?
A therapist.
Well, therapists do a good job. Therapists are all about healing, so they
Okay.
want to know who you are and what you want too. But in the purpose of healing you, but coaching is not about healing. Coaching is about growth, about development. Now, if you want to learn, if you want someone to mold you into something else, like what they think you should, go to a counselor or a consultant. But a coach is gonna teach is wants you to be you. Like I'm not like the quote was, I'm not gonna. I don't want to. Someone. I don't want to make someone be like me. I want to help someone be more like themselves. And so we need to know who that is, and we need to know what kind of person they want to be, because then so we know what kind of person they don't want to be, and so we start making them into that person.
So that goes hand in hand with what's working and what's not working. Because
Hmm.
now when you can identify for yourself, you can help other people with the same issues that you probably overcame.
Mm. Yeah, and a lot of the things I help people with are things that I've gone over myself, and that's a lot of the experience. I consider myself the guinea pig, and that's kind of why I think I know so much about what I'm like of the behaviors I've gone over is because I've gone over them myself. Not like I've if there was a behavior that I wanted to learn how it handled, and I wasn't experienced in it, I would force myself into a situation to do that so that I can learn about it. Like I that's one of the big tenets that's been in my coaching career that I was like this is before I even start coaching, this is going to be a huge step. It's like I'm never going to tell someone anything that I'm not 100% sure is correct. Like that was really, and that meant more work than I thought because it's like I'm not going to risk telling someone the wrong information. So I really need to be sure of this. So I have to go out and learn about it. I have to study. I have to understand the behaviors better enough. Like there's a lot of people out there who will tell you things that they think are good or they think are good behaviors. Like someone will tell you that if you make enough money that your kids will never want for anything, that's a good parent. But I'll tell you that's a terrible parent because you're going to raise really, really terrible children who don't value money and are really bad to people.
There's a saying you have. I recently made a post that you have to. I have to do my own case study. Like I have to do my first case study. If it's not working for me, if I don't like it, I know everybody else is not going to like it. But then when I start to learn more about business, I start to understand that I have to like it first, or I have to understand what I'm doing. I have to have practice. I have to try it so many different times. So that way, when I put it out to the market, I'm not just trying anything. I'm doing what has been proven.
Hmm. That's it. Like I have to make sure it's right. I have to make sure it's correct. I'm not going to risk someone's like development growth. It's our life, man. Like you're risking someone's adventure to tell them something. And so it's like you need to make damn sure that it's correct. Because like you don't if you're a real coach, that's the most important thing to you is to make sure that you're doing what's best for them. And so it's like that's part of it. It's like I'm going to make sure I know what I'm talking about here. I'm going to make sure that what I'm talking about is correct. so that I can know that ensure that their projection, wherever it is going to be beneficial.
You have a quote on your website. Hold on. Your website was what was your website again?
Absolutioncoaching.com.
Yes, on absolutioncoaching.com. I went on it and it was a quote. As soon as the website comes on, there's a quote. I meant to write it down, but I forgot it. Do you remember that quote is on there? If not, I can try to look it up.
Well, there's two quotes. There's the base one, which is one of the probably more important quotes. This is the big one. It's like actions speak louder than words,
That one.
but actions are defined by results.
Explain it. Elaborate on it.
So like actions speak louder than words. That's pretty obvious. It's like talk isn't as big as action, but the action doesn't mean anything if the results don't match up to what you're going for. It's like a lot of people want to say their efforts matter, but your efforts don't matter if you didn't put the effort towards something that actually brought results. And like so, one of the big examples I bring to you is you've got two people who are trying to grow an apple orchard. One's in the desert and one's in the plains. They're both going to put the same amount of effort to grow this apple orchard, but based on location whose effort actually matters. Now, at the end of the year, how many of them are going to sell apples like to an orange farm? It's like at that point, like they both had the same amount of effort. Only one of them had results, and the results don't matter if they don't match up with what people are looking for, anyways. So I was like, yeah. So that was the big example. It's like person who did all that effort for the desert didn't make an orchard. Person who worked in the plains did get an orchard, but you're not going to sell apple orchards to people who need oranges.
That goes back to knowing your audience. That goes back to knowing your location. That goes back to knowing your market. That's crazy. That was a good example. That was good.
Yeah, it's like then actions are defined by results because that's what it's always going to be. The results will always speak for everything else. However much effort you put in, how much action you make, doesn't matter if the results don't match up in your favor.
That's true. That's true. All right, so we got one last segment, and it's called the best for last segment. So in this segment, I ask you 4 questions, and you answer within 30 seconds.
Okay,
All right, let me know when you're ready.
go for it.
All right, so question number 1, what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for every day. Like this, like that's probably sounds so like mundane or like I guess basic, but it's like I've learned to like gratitude is such an important emotion, and I really enjoy life to the point to where it's like every day I'm like, yeah, another day, let's go. I'm having fun with this.
Okay, do you have any regrets?
Do I? Yeah, I do. And like I want to be. I'd say I want to be a person that doesn't have regrets, but I do have those regrets. And I think the most important one isn't one that I'm going to say here, but I think it's the best thing that I've had that regret because it teaches me. It taught me a valuable lesson of how I need to treat others. And knowing that I have that regret will always be that thing in the back of my head that will make sure that I always treat people better.
That's self-reflection right there. Question number 3, by being the founder of Absolution Coaching LLC, what was your biggest lesson that you learned from it so far?
No matter what your title is, no matter what you've accomplished, no matter how little you've done, everyone is still a person. Every single person is still a person. Don't feel like you're not too small or too big to talk to anyone.
That goes back. I know we doing the best for last segment, but that goes back to your part of your regret, right?
I wouldn't say that, no.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. And then last question: what does failure is knowledge mean to you?
Failure as knowledge means to me that there is no such thing as failure until you actually decide to stop. They're like it's you mistakes are the best teacher. Like experience is the best teacher. It's not going to be the nicest teacher in the world, but it is the best teacher. And every failure is it's a lesson. It's understanding. If you have if you fail, you have an opportunity to learn from it and grow from it. It's the day that you stop failing that you start dying because there's nothing else to learn. I guess at that point.
Man, Ron, this has been great. How can people find you? How can they learn more about Absolution Coaching LLC? And yeah, how can they find you? How can they learn more about Absolution Coaching LLC?
Well, the cat's definitely out of the bag. I'm not so secret anymore. This is the year that I started branching out, and this podcast is proof of that too. So, if you want to find me, you can find me at my website at absolutioncoaching.com, and I'll have a nice little. It's very concise. I try to keep it easy for people to read, know what I'm about. I also have a LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn at Ronald Sepulveda II. Just search that up. You will recognize me. It's a nice photo. Those are the two main areas. Other than that, I've got contact details on my website that go to my assistant, so you can always reach out to me that way, and she's pretty quick about getting to people to me pretty quick. So
Sounds great, Ron. Man, this has been great. Let me stop recording right now. Oh wait, no, not recording. We end with one quote, but the quote has to be your quote, and I will go first. Don't be afraid to fail, because failure is knowledge.
okay, well, my big quote was already used in this video, so I'll use a different one that I came up with a while back. If the seeds of trees were if the seeds of trees only grew in soil they were comfortable with, there would be no trees.
That's good. I'm about to stop recording right now. Man, Ron, that was amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I man learned a lot. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on. Took a lot of notes. My screen is black, but I'm just gonna scroll up, show you how much I got.
Okay.
Can you see this?
Yeah, you can. Oh man. All right, memorize that and throw that tablet away. You don't need that.
I just took a lot of notes just to show you that I did my research beforehand, and the conversation was good. I think the conversation was good. How did you like it?
I probably could have spoke better. I think I was speaking way more. I was very relaxed, and so because of that, I don't know if my words slurred or I made any kind of speech mistakes. But overall, I think at that point it feels more genuine, So
Yes. Man, this was great. Can I share with you the next steps?
Sure.
So today is Monday, August 3rd. 7 days from now, you will get the final. You get the trailer between 7 days, and then at the 7 day mark, this when the full episode releases. And so, I send it to you next Monday before 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the trailer will be before the Monday. I think.
Okay.
It's not. I think I said that confusing, but did that make sense?
No, it makes sense. Yeah. The trailer comes out first a couple days before, then they'll release on Monday.
Yes. Perfect. So before we end, do you mind doing a testimonial experience while being on the Phrase Knowledge podcast?
Yeah, how did I do that?
I just asked one question. What was your experience while being on the podcast?
It's a blast.
I haven't answered that. We're not recording
yet. Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, we're almost recording. I think it says recording right now. Let's see if we get it. Okay. Ron, again, thank you for coming on to the Phrase Knowledge podcast. What was your experience while being on the podcast?
This was awesome. It was very the flow was genuine. It felt nice. Like you really are curious about the people you're talking to, so it feels nice and it was genuine. I feel like I got too genuine with how good this feels, and so and it's genuine while feeling professional at the same time. So this is absolutely key.
I appreciate it, Ron. That's it. I think it's recording. I'm not for sure. Hopefully we got it, but if not, that's cool.
if not, we'll pick a time this week and I'll do the testimony again.
Okay, no worries. Again, man, Ron, I appreciate it. In your email, I'm going to see why the emails didn't come through. Do you mind just answering the same exact question? What was your experience while being on the podcast? On the link for the Google review as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send me the link for Google review because I don't know how to find that.
I send it to you. I shoot you a message. Is the number that you put in the on the calendar link the number I can reach out to?
Okay, so it's there.
No, I'm saying, is that the number that I can reach out to?
Oh yeah. If whatever number I put in there is the one you can, yeah.
Okay, I'll reach out to you. Let you know when I send it. But yeah, man, Ron, I appreciate it. And then just check your email and messages in the next couple of days.
Sure thing, bud.
I appreciate it, brother.
All right, it's been a blessing.
Have
a good day, bud.
You too, brother. Thank you.